All right, collapse in oil and rotting tomatoes. There's one. Here to discuss Kevin Kerr of Kerr Trading and editor of Resource Trader Alert. We also welcome back to the program after several years, Sean Tully, editor-at-large, Fortune magazine. Panel still with us. Sean Tully, before we get to rotten tomatoes and the damaged food crops in the Midwest, you wrote a heck of a piece here, Why Oil Prices Will Tank. And you're looking for a big drop. And if you could just give us the kernel of your thought. I'm probably mixing metaphors, Sean.
Absolutely, Larry. Well, what happened was that we had a spike in demand, absolutely, starting around 2002, 2003, mainly from India and China, and from the Middle East also, where oil consumption is heavily subsidized. And because we were in a tight capacity situation, suppliers could not keep up with anything like the demands that were being put on the market. So, in effect, you had the buyers bidding up the price of oil, bidding up the price of that last barrel of oil, which sets the price for the entire market to way above the marginal cost of producing that barrel.
Now, is the production of the extra barrel of oil
sets the price for the entire market.
So where's your guesstimate on what that extra barrel of oil costs?
That extra barrel of oil costs about $50.
And therefore, let me just work through you on this. You can get a nice fat profit. Heck, Sean, you could give them 20, 25, 30, 35%, and you'd still come out to what, 70, 75 bucks?
Absolutely. So all of the barrels that can be produced at 60 and 70 and 80 are yielding 50, 80, 100% returns at current prices. So what's going to happen is you're going to have an explosion in exploration. But the problem is, Larry, that this market is very much like the housing market. Why did housing prices spike? They spiked because the economy came roaring back and the builders couldn't respond fast enough so that you had a spike in existing homes because there was a shortage in a lot of growing areas.
And a strong dollar may hasten this and blow this up. Now,
absolutely.
Kevin Kerr, give me a quickie. This is the reason I wanted Sean on, first of all, I haven't seen him and I'd love to have him on. Second of all, no one's really talking about this. The cost of producing the extra barrel of oil has a lot to do with the actual price setting. Just a quick take, and then I want to move to food.
Yeah, let's break it down. You know, the bottom line, the dollar has been so weak. It has been driving this price for oil. This recent spike is unprecedented. I've been trading oil for 20 years, and we've never seen moves like this before, especially last week. So clearly the dollar weakness kind of took over. Mr. Bernanke coming out saying he wants a strong dollar but not actually take action, which was talked about earlier in the program. This has been the biggest underlier for the oil price to spike to this level. And I agree. I think there's at least, in my opinion, $25 to $30 of premium in this oil price based on that.
The economics have a way of winning out. The business economics, which is what Sean is giving us, it's an old-fashioned discipline. None of this fancy mathematical, econometrical crap that, modeling that forecasters give us all on the demand. So you want a quick
yeah,
point?
I think I got to go to along with what Sean was saying, when we talk about the home builders trying to ramp up and feed the supply as quickly as they can to a burgeoning market, same thing's going on now. We had $25 billion of mergers and acquisitions in oil and gas exploration companies in the first 6 months of the last 12-month period. In the last 6 months, that's up 35% to $31 billion, even with $6 billion announced today.
In 2002, Jack, €1 equaled $1.
Oil's
it would be $80 today if that relationship
oil's
would
going to
stayed.
$75 a barrel. Sean Tully just told us. I got to go to you, Kevin. Food. All right. Rotten tomatoes, that's one thing. Salmonella, okay, stuff happens. But the terrible, terrible rains and hurricanes and storms in the Midwest destroying the food crop. What is that going to mean?
Well, let's back up a little bit. We've already had a late planting season for most of the Midwest for corn, and we are expecting a big yield for corn because we need it for the mandates for ethanol. So, you know, as we look forward now with all this flooding in Indiana, Wisconsin, devastation, clearly. The corn is underwater. It can't survive. A lot of people are believing that farmers are going to switch now to soybeans. The reality is, and I know this because I've been out talking to farmers, they cannot purchase the fertilizer, cannot purchase the seed, cannot get the diesel fuel to replant again, and let alone get the seed.
Because it's all scarce?
Scarce. Very expensive, and at the end of the day, farmers are kind of throwing their hands up saying, you know, we couldn't get the original crop in, now it's flooded out again, they're worn out, it's the middle of June.
What's this mean to grocery stores and supermarkets? What's this going to mean to the consumer price index?
Well, this is expensive right now. Already we're paying, what, $4 and $5 a gallon for milk, and you know, all this is connected with dairy, with produce. Everything is connected to grain. So as they rise, we'll see exponential increases in all of the commodities. So we expect higher prices at the grocery store, unfortunately.
You know, Jerry Boyer, there's a million reasons why food prices go up. There's a million reasons why oil prices go up. I heard the same rhetoric, Jerry, in the 1970s. But at the root bottom cause of all this was bad money from the USA, a lousy dollar, Jerry. Now, the dollar can't solve the rainstorms. The dollar can't solve the salmonella that's hurting the tomatoes. But, Jerry, boy, if we had a strong dollar, I think we'd be fixing a lot of things. I'm going to give you the last take here.
Simon, who studied commodity prices over a couple of hundred years, the normal route in a free market system, in an international capitalistic system for commodities in inflation-adjusted terms is down, down, down. So the commodity spikes we're seeing now are the exception to the historical trend, and therefore they're not sustainable.
Yeah, well, that's why I think Bernanke's doing the right thing, however belatedly. Many thanks, Kevin Kerr. Appreciate it. Kevin, you got a thought on oil real quick, oil price?
I do, and I agree with Jerry to some extent. If we see a stronger dollar, if Mr. Bernanke follows through, raises rates, we will see these commodity prices come down.
I'm telling you, put that dollar story together with Sean Tully's marginal production cost story, you got some serious drop in oil prices, and I think that's coming. Sean Tully, Fortune, thank you ever so much.
Larry.
Everybody else got a little more work to do, because up next, dueling tax plans, McCain versus Obama. Top economic advisors from both camps will debate radically different worldviews. And as always, we are firm believers in the Kudlow creed.
I believe
free market capitalism is the best path to prosperity.
You're watching Kudlow and Company on CNBC, first in business worldwide.